Welcome to Crafted Nest, where every corner of nature becomes a story worth telling. Today, we'll visit a backyard that feels like a dream, a place where rain meets sunlight, where green turns to gold, and where every plant tells a secret of care and love. Take a deep breath, feel the calm, and let yourself wander through this tropical paradise. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Crafted Nest, your home for timeless inspirations, heartfelt creations, and the serenity of real living. 1. The Whispering Water Garden. The sound of water has a way of slowing down time. When you stand by a small pond, you start noticing details that daily life often hides. The reflection of clouds, the dance of light on the ripples, the gentle hum of life beneath the surface. In the Whispering Water Garden, everything begins with simplicity. A few stones placed in harmony, a handful of aquatic plants, and water clear enough to mirror the sky. You don't need an architect to build this beauty, just patience and the willingness to listen. The trick is to let nature take the lead. Place your pond where it can catch morning sunlight, but where the afternoon shade keeps it cool. Line it with smooth pebbles. Let ferns and papyrus grow freely. If you add fish, choose small and lively ones, guppies, koi, or native freshwater species that thrive in tropical warmth. What makes this garden magical isn't the scale, it's the sound. The water whispers stories while the wind carries them to your ears. On a rainy day, raindrops play their own melody on the pond surface. And when the evening comes, the reflection of warm light turns the water into liquid gold. Creating a water garden like this reminds us that peace doesn't come from grand gestures, but from quiet persistence, from caring, observing, and nurturing life in small corners. So, the next time you look at your backyard, imagine the silence broken only by soft ripples. That's where beauty truly lives. 2. Rustic Flower Haven. There's something profoundly human about tending to flowers. It feels like caring for joy itself. Every petal that opens is a reward for patience. Every color a reminder that beauty thrives where love exists. In Rustic Flower Haven, the magic lies not in symmetry, but in the gentle chaos of nature. Orchids stretch gracefully from hanging pots, their roots dancing in the air. Hibiscus bursts in fiery red and soft pink, catching sunlight like velvet. Between them, the humble daisy, Margarita, smiles quietly, softening the view. Together, they speak the language of warmth. Creating a garden like this is less about perfection and more about connection. Start with what blooms easily where you live. In tropical climates, light and humidity are blessings. Embrace them. Mix colors without fear. Let bold reds meet sunny yellows. Let greens frame everything like a living painting. Add old clay pots, wooden crates, or even repurposed kitchen tins. Their rustic charm tells the story of real life, simple, imperfect, and alive. When morning arrives, the first light kisses the petals. The air hums softly with bees and butterflies. And you, standing barefoot on the damp earth, feel something pure, a calmness that no screen or noise can replace. This is a place where the heart rests, a place where time slows down, where even the smallest bloom feels like a friend whispering, "You did well." Rustic Flower Haven isn't just a garden. It's an invitation to rediscover tenderness, one petal, one breath, one sunrise at a time. 3. Backyard Fruit Paradise. There's a quiet kind of luxury that comes from growing your own fruits. The joy isn't in the harvest itself, it's in the waiting, the tending, the slow rhythm of nature teaching patience. In Backyard Fruit Paradise, every tree tells a story. The mango tree stretches proudly, heavy with golden fruit that glows under the sun. Nearby, the papaya sways with its tall, slender trunk, while a small pomegranate tree offers ruby red jewels hidden among glossy leaves. This isn't just a garden, it's a living pantry of sweetness and memory. Creating such a space doesn't require acres of land, only intention and care. Choose trees that thrive in your region, plant them with enough space to breathe, and let their roots find their rhythm. Surround them with herbs or flowers to attract bees and butterflies. Life multiplies when diversity blooms. In the mornings, sunlight filters through the fruit-laden branches, painting the ground in golden patches. In the afternoons, the shade invites you to sit with a cup of tea, listening to the gentle hum of the day. When you finally pick the first fruit, you'll feel a connection deeper than taste. It's gratitude. Gratitude for soil, for time, for the unseen miracles beneath the surface. A backyard fruit paradise is more than beauty or bounty. It's proof that when we give love to the earth, it returns it tenfold, sweet, fragrant, and full of life. And perhaps the greatest reward of all is this: you'll never eat alone. Every bite will carry the warmth of the sun, the song of rain, and the whisper of the garden that grew with you. 4. Pergola and swing sanctuary. There's something magical about a swing, the way it carries you between moments, between thoughts, between breaths. Under a pergola wrapped in green, the world feels softer, slower, almost timeless. In pergola and swing sanctuary, the heart of the garden becomes a haven for rest. The wooden beams, left in their natural tone, age beautifully under the sun. Creeping vines weave through them, bringing flowers that change with the seasons, sometimes bold and red, other times soft and white. The swing, handmade from wood or bamboo, becomes more than furniture. It becomes a companion. It listens when you fall silent. It moves when you need calm. Creating this peaceful corner is easier than it seems. Choose a spot where light dances in the morning but cool shade arrives in the afternoon. Use local wood or bamboo, materials that breathe with the weather. Hang your swing with strong rope and let it sway gently between the beams. If space allows, place potted plants or ferns around the base. Their greenery will complete the sense of serenity. Then one day, as rain begins to fall softly on the roof of the pergola, sit down and close your eyes. The sound of droplets meeting wood will remind you that beauty doesn't shout. It hums quietly in rhythm with your heart. This sanctuary isn't built to impress. It's built to heal, a space where thoughts untangle, where worries shrink to whispers, and where even the wind seems to pause to listen. In the stillness of pergola and swing sanctuary, you don't just rest. You return to yourself, to the earth, to peace. 5. Tropical succulent corner. Sometimes, beauty thrives in silence, in forms that ask for little, yet give so much. The tropical succulent corner is where stillness turns into art. Each leaf is a sculpture, each curve a story of resilience under the sun. Here, succulents stand like quiet guardians of time. Their thick leaves hold water, patience, and grace. Bromeliads add bursts of color, pinks and reds that catch the light like stained glass. The agaves, bold and geometric, create structure, balance, and a sense of permanence. Together, they form a living mosaic, one that never competes, only complements. Creating this corner is about contrast, soft and sharp, bright and muted, structured and free. You can build it against a wall, along a path, or even in a single raised bed. Use natural stones, driftwood, or broken pottery to frame the space. Imperfections give it soul. These plants thrive with minimal care. Too much water is their only enemy. Let the soil dry, let the light pour in, and watch them glow like jewels in daylight. As you water them gently every few days, you'll notice something subtle. Their leaves may not dance in the wind like others, but they shine with quiet strength. They remind you that endurance can be beautiful too. When the morning sun hits your tropical succulent corner, it becomes more than decoration. It becomes a reflection of balance. A lesson whispered through leaves that survive, thrive, and ask for almost nothing in return. And perhaps, in that simplicity, You'll find your own calm. Reminder that growth doesn't have to be loud to be extraordinary. 6. Mini wooden dream house. There's a kind of wonder that only small things can hold, the kind that makes you smile before you even understand why. The mini wooden dream house isn't just a structure, it's a story captured in wood and love. In many gardens, this tiny house stands quietly, its doorway lined with flowers and laughter. Maybe it began as a gift for a child, or perhaps as a creative dream that someone refused to outgrow. Over time, moss creeps softly along its edges, and vines embrace its walls. Each morning, dew settles on its tiny roof, glistening like diamonds in the sun. It feels alive, like it's breathing the same calm as the garden around it. Creating one doesn't demand perfection, only imagination. Reuse old wooden planks, small windows, or leftover materials from past projects. Paint it soft pastel shades or keep it raw and rustic. Both carry charm. Add a small mat at the entrance. Maybe hang a lantern or a wind chime above. Fill the surroundings with marigolds, daisies, or hanging succulents to blur the line between the real and the whimsical. When the afternoon light touches its roof, shadows play gently across the ground. The garden becomes a living fairy tale, one built not by architects, but by hearts that remember how to dream. The mini wooden dream house teaches us that joy doesn't need grandeur. Sometimes, happiness fits inside a tiny door, one that opens not to a room, but to a feeling. In its stillness, you'll find the echo of childhood, of simple afternoons, of laughter carried by the wind. It's not just decoration, it's a memory you can visit anytime you need to remember what peace feels like. 7. Green carpet perfection. When your bare feet touch fresh grass, the world feels instantly lighter. The green carpet perfection is more than a lawn. It's a sanctuary of simplicity, a living canvas of calm. Here, each blade of grass holds the memory of rain, sunlight, and quiet mornings. The secret isn't in expensive landscaping, but in consistent care. A bit of trimming, a sprinkle of water, and patience that grows with the seasons. This kind of beauty doesn't rush. It unfolds slowly, softly, and silently. Imagine waking early to see dew shimmering like tiny gems across your lawn. The air feels cleaner, and the sound of your footsteps blends gently with birdsong. Each drop of moisture becomes a reflection of the sky, small miracles scattered across green velvet. To create this look, start with good soil that drains well and receives gentle sunlight. Choose a local grass variety that loves your climate. Once it grows, keep it short enough to look even but tall enough to breathe. Avoid harsh fertilizers. Nature prefers balance. Surround it with simple details, stone borders, clay pots, or stepping paths, to define the edges without stealing attention. Over time, the green carpet perfection becomes more than a visual delight. It becomes a mood. It's where families gather barefoot, children laugh freely, and time moves unhurried. When the afternoon wind brushes across it, the grass sways like an ocean of green waves, soft, rhythmic, and eternal. And in that moment, you'll realize the truth about beauty. It doesn't have to be loud to be perfect. Sometimes, all it takes is a piece of earth, a bit of care, and the courage to let simplicity shine. 8. The sunlit pathway. There's a special kind of beauty in the way sunlight touches stone, a conversation between earth and sky that happens quietly under our feet. The sunlit pathway captures that moment, turning a simple walkway into a poem of light and shadow. As you walk along, each step feels like an invitation to slow down. The stones, uneven yet sure, guide your rhythm. Between them, blades of grass grow freely, softening every edge. When the morning sun rises, light filters through the trees above, painting golden mosaics that dance gently as the breeze moves the leaves. Creating such a pathway doesn't require perfection. Choose flat stones of different shapes. Their irregularity makes it charming. Let moss and small wildflowers creep through the gaps. They are nature's brushstrokes. Position your path so that it captures both sunlight and shade, because contrast is what brings depth to beauty. Over time, you'll see how the light changes the mood. Morning brings brightness and promise. Afternoon adds warmth and nostalgia. Even in rain, the stones glisten like polished mirrors reflecting the sky. Each season leaves its mark. Fallen petals in spring, golden leaves in fall, soft mist in early dawn. Walking this path is not about reaching a destination. It's about noticing. The sound of your steps, the texture underfoot, the scent of damp earth. These are the quiet details that make a garden feel alive. The sunlit pathway reminds us that beauty often hides in the simplest lines, in the spaces between movement and stillness, shadow and glow. And when you walk there at sunrise, barefoot and calm, it's as if the earth itself whispers, "Slow down. The light is waiting for you." 9. Vintage wheelbarrow garden. There's poetry in giving old things a new life. The vintage wheelbarrow garden is a celebration of that idea, a reminder that beauty doesn't fade with age. It simply changes shape. In one corner of the garden, an old wheelbarrow rests quietly. Its handles are worn, its paint chipped, but in its rust and scratches lies a kind of dignity. Instead of carrying soil or stones, it now carries life. Overflowing flowers spilling softly over its edges, petals brushing against the morning air. The once utilitarian tool has become art, a vessel of renewal and color. To create your own, look for an old wheelbarrow, metal or wood. Both tell beautiful stories. Line it with a thin layer of gravel for drainage, then fill it with rich soil. Choose flowers that bloom easily in your climate, marigolds, daisies, or impatiens, plants that love the sun but forgive a bit of neglect. Let them trail freely. The less structured they are, the more natural the charm. Place it where the sunlight touches gently in the morning, perhaps by a fence or beneath a tree. Over time, moss may creep along its wheels, and rain will deepen its patina, each season adding another layer to its story. When you see it glowing under daylight, you'll realize that imperfection holds a special kind of grace. What was once forgotten now draws every gaze, every smile. The vintage wheelbarrow garden teaches a simple truth. Life is not about staying new, but about staying alive, in color, in purpose, in heart. And sometimes, all it takes to turn the ordinary into magic is a touch of soil, a few flowers, and the courage to see beauty where others see rust. 10. Vertical green wall of hope. In cities where walls grow taller and yards grow smaller, the dream of a garden often fades, but it doesn't have to. The vertical green wall of hope was born from that very longing, to bring life upward when there's no space left to spread wide. Imagine a plain wall transformed into a living canvas, layers of green, cascading leaves, and tiny blooms breathing freshness into the air. Each pot, bottle, or wooden box tells a story of care and creativity. The beauty lies not just in the plants, but in the idea that nature always finds a way, even when space runs out. Building one doesn't require much. Start with what you have: old pallets and used bottles or simple wooden racks. Line them in tiers along your wall or fence, ensuring each plant gets sunlight and room to grow. Mix textures: ferns for softness, succulents for structure, herbs for fragrance. The trick is balance, green upon green, layered in rhythm like notes in a quiet song. Morning light turns this wall into a painting that changes every day. Dew gathers on the leaves, birds perch curiously, and even a passing breeze carries the scent of life renewed. It's a daily reminder that growth isn't bound by space, only by imagination. And as the weeks pass, something shifts. The wall that once stood silent now hums with energy. It becomes not just decor, but hope itself, proof that even in the smallest corners, beauty can bloom. The vertical green wall of hope whispers a truth worth keeping. You don't need a big garden to feel close to nature. You only need a wall willing to dream.